This is Power Athlete Radio. With your hosts, Denny K, Professor Booty, and the Luke Summers. And now, toes forward, hips locked, shoulders set, and retract those scapulars. It's time for some knowledge bombs.
All right, Power Athlete Nation, get ready. We got a good show for you today. We got Luke from CrossFit Football out in Boston. Luke, what's happening?
What's going on?
Steve down in CrossFit Gwinnett. Steve, how you doing?
Doing good, man. I'm here with Caleb Williams, national champion. What's up, guys?
What's happening, Caleb?
Apparently the world's strongest man.
Huge squat. I mean, I seen at the Power Athlete Team Series, 525. You look like you had more in the tank, dude.
Yeah, I hadn't back squatted more than about 2 or 3 times leading up to that, so I wasn't real sure where we were at. So just did enough we needed to do to win.
Hell yeah. What do we got in the background there, Steve? A jackhammer?
Yeah, so we're having showers installed at the gym today. So as soon as we logged on, they started hammering away here.
They waited till we started. That was nice of them.
All right, Luke, so any updates coming out of HQ?
Yeah, dude. We Ben and John are on a plane right now heading to the UK. There's a huge cert. Whenever we go to the UK or whenever we go to Europe or basically any international cert, dude, we get like huge numbers. I don't know if it's just because of the fact that, we don't travel internationally as much, but so they're going to the UK. Callie's going to hit the streets. We got Linwood Team Series coming up next week. And she's out in Seattle a week early just to kind of scout things out. I think she had a wedding to go to as well. But these team series are going to be awesome. I was talking to Freddie Camacho on the way from the airport. I'm in Boston. I'm at a buddy's wedding and scouting some gyms out here for a cert as well. But I was talking to Freddie. Dude, he's got like 6 or 7 food and equipment vendors that are going to be at the NorCal regionals. Or I'm sorry, the NorCal Team Series, and it's like the size of regionals. Ingo's going to be there DJing. These things are blowing up, and it's one of those. We don't know what to do with it now. It's getting pretty big, So it's like, how are we going to do 2014? But the good thing is that's Callie's job, and I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on, man.
So real quick, here's a good example. You're out on the road. What kind of workouts are you able to do?
Oh man, so this goes back to a couple of the. We've gotten questions about this. Hey, I travel 5 days out of the week. What do I do for training? I'm actually with one of my best friends. He's on the road 5 days a week, and we were just got in a debate last night about training. Dude, all you need is 15 minutes in a hotel weight room or whatever you want to call it. You put the treadmill on max incline, on max speed, and do Tabata treadmill, Tabata sprints. And I was doing lat pull down and push-ups. Lat pull down is the worst. It's worse than kipping pull-ups, dude. So you
lat pull down.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a wedding this weekend, so I got to get my pump on. You know how it is.
Nice. So Steve,
Sounds horrible.
Deadlift for dollars, man. Tell us about that.
Yeah, actually, I'll let Caleb started it. So let me have Caleb tell you a little bit about the history of it, and then we'll give a little plug for it. It's happening here September 28th.
Yeah, so Deadlift for Dollars. This will be our 3rd year doing it. We started it 2 years ago. We just did it in our gym, and we were just looking to kind of do some community outreach stuff. And there was a friend of ours in the CrossFit community. Her mother had died from cancer the year prior to that, and they started a charity called Paint Georgia Pink. in her name, and essentially what they do is they kind of fill a need that a lot of the major charities don't. So they go out and they actually give money to people who can't afford to pay for their medical bills. They can't afford to pay for their rent because they might not be able to work while they're undergoing treatments and stuff like this while they have breast cancer. So they actually give the money directly to people to help them live and help them pay for medical costs and help them, have food on the table and stuff like that, which we thought was really cool. Fills kind of an unmet need. So we wanted to just kind of figure out a way where we could combine what we did with a way to raise money for them. So we put together Deadlift for Dollars, and our first year was we had a blast. It was just our gym, our members. We raised I think around $8,000 that first year. We just put on a deadlift meet. We ran it like a powerlifting meet. Highlighted everybody was up on a platform. We had some music, had an announcer, all that stuff, and everybody got all jacked up. Some people heard about it the next year. So last year we had a couple other gyms in the area that joined us. Our event was bigger. We had, I think, 2 or 3 other gyms around the area that did it with us, and altogether we raised a little bit over $20,000 last year. And then we have our 3rd annual one coming up here on September 28th. So we'll be hitting it next month. And there's even more interest this year. We've had about 8 or so gyms in the area contact us. Some other friends around the country are interested in doing it too. So it's we're excited about it this year and just kind of see where it grows from here.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, dude. So think about it. We do this. We throw this podcast out. We throw programming out. We put the fitness guide out. We're putting all this stuff out. But
you're breaking a little bit, Luke.
Stuff like this, it's like people helping people, man. You just gotta participate. It's like Wade's Wings. We're gonna have Wade's Wings and it's great.
Yeah, and we keep it low key. It's just about having fun. Everybody kind of just and every gym that hosts it, they put their own spin on it. We host it like a powerlifting competition where we have first attempt, second attempt, third attempt. We know people come in and they make it part of their class during that day, make everybody participate. Everybody just kind of puts their own touch on it. Paint Georgia Pink gives us all kind of stuff. We got their banners hanging up all over and flags and stuff like that. And it's just it's just about helping each other out, and it's really cool to see who kind of comes out of the woodwork and just participates and donates money towards a great cause and stuff like that. And, everybody really comes together and bonds over this too. It's really cool.
And there's cupcakes.
Yeah, cupcakes too.
And I'm sure the 2 people who listen to this, Ingo and Dave the Bull, they'll probably do it.
Yeah, Dave the Bull already told me that he'll donate. I think it was Dave said he'd donate 50. If I pulled 600, he'd donate 100. So motivation to pull 6.
Dude.
Yeah, he kind of seems to be coming after you, Steve. Does he want to do like a squat competition with you as well?
I guess. Whatever. He can out-squat me, so whatever.
Nice. Luke, you know what? You broke up when you were talking about Wade's Army. So we really didn't get a chance to – it sounded like you had an update with that.
Oh, no, I just I talked to one of our coaches, and we're going to do Wade's Wings again.
Wade's Wings, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, but and basically Wade's Army is what makes Wade's Wings happen. And we had like an amazing turnout last year. And John shot me an email. John's pretty succinct when he needs things done. So if you're the type of guy who needs instructions, you probably shouldn't work for Wellborn. He shoots out an email. He's like, hey, we got a triple Wade's Wings from last year. And that was it. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. We're going to figure out how to make it bigger, better. Obviously, we're going to have a Wade's Army shirt again, upgrade. And I don't know when that's going to be popping out, probably in the next couple of weeks. But, we say it all the time. We joke around. But people helping people, man, that's what's beautiful about this CrossFit thing and the community that it builds is like just what you guys are doing in Georgia, Caleb and Steve. Like that thing could be global just by a blog post, just by a podcast. And we've done a lot of great things to help a lot of people out. And, but yeah, Wade's Wings is right around the corner.
Cool. All right. Well, Caleb, we wanted to ask you some questions since we had you on the show.
Sure.
I assume that you are coaching down there as well, right? At Gwinnett. So how did you prepare for the Nationals and, fulfill your duties as a coach down there as well? Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I'm at the gym all day because coaching throughout the day. One thing that helps out is having a great coaching staff. So we have Steve and we have 2 other coaches here, and that they help share the duties of coaching, which definitely helps a lot. And we what we do here is kind of twofold. So we have CrossFit Gwinnett. Then we have another thing we run under the same roof, Peak Performance Weightlifting, where we train mostly youth and high school athletes. So, and I spend a lot of time training those kids and those athletes. And now that they're back in school, most of them are coming in the afternoon and the evening, which gives me most of the day, to take care of stuff at the gym, to coach, and then to also train. So that definitely makes a big difference. Opening up a little bit of time throughout the day to be able to prepare. So,
so how many hours a week do you think you had to put in yourself just to prepare yourself for the Open or the Nationals?
For a week, I train every day but Sunday. Probably spend average about 3 hours a day. So I guess we come out about 18 a week.
Any kind of conditioning? As far as, were you doing CrossFit WODs or just? We talked a little bit about this on the last show, so I would be interested in hearing your opinion on that.
Yeah, so my preparation this year has been different than it has in the past. So last year we had the Nationals was at the Arnold Classic, so it was in March. And after that, I wasn't real sure, what I was going to do. We brought the CrossFit Gwinnett up here to our facility and kind of expanded it, and I wanted to just have a better understanding of what CrossFit is overall and be able to coach it better. So I started doing CrossFit, a lot of conditioning, a lot of different WODs, doing more than 2 squats and 2 cleans, that sort of stuff. When doing that, I wasn't real sure what I was going to be doing with weightlifting over the next couple years. So, going into starting the CrossFit, I went in there, being okay and fully expecting to take, a 10, 15% drop on my Olympic lifts and even on my squats and stuff like that. But as I started training, I really found it to be kind of the opposite. It strengthened some certain things that I had been neglecting over the last couple of years, but only focusing on a couple lifts. I've gotten better shape, increased my conditioning. Started recovering faster, and and mentally too. Going through and doing a bunch of different stuff. You go up and you only have to snatch a clean and jerk once. You don't think about it as much. So it helped on multiple fronts, and I didn't expect that to happen at all. And we'd even be at local competitions or doing stuff in here where you got a 10-minute cap, and I'd still be hitting, weights that I was hitting, sitting there for 30 minutes doing it or whatever, And so I was really surprised with the effect that it had on my training, and even with the conditioning. So, I decided to go to Nationals again this year, and I had kept conditioning in all the way up. I changed our weightlifting, ran a specific weightlifting cycle for Nationals, but still added conditioning in on top of that, up until the last 2 weeks or so, where I started to change that, made it a little bit shorter. And also I tried to take out anything that had any kind of push up or pull up in it, because I had to atrophy my upper body a little bit to make weight. So, but no, it definitely made a difference. And, I've really been surprised, and it's kind of the opposite of what most people think happens, and just traditional beliefs on what, how weightlifters train and how CrossFitters train and all that. But, for me, it really ended up being where blending the two really made a difference, and I think I'm a better athlete now because of that.
For sure. Luke, does that surprise you at all, or is that exactly what you expected to hear?
Well, not at all. And Caleb, how much do you weigh?
I'm sorry, Luke.
You broke up a little bit on that one.
I'm sorry. How much do you weigh?
Right now, probably like 72 kilos. So, is that the post? Sorry about that jackhammer. Let that clear off. So right now about 72 kilos. So, maybe 158 or so in pounds, American talk. So I compete at 69 kilos, which is 152.
So 69 kilos. Do you guys remember the honey badger when we had the honey badger thing on CrossFitFootball.com?
Honey badger.
honey badger?
I don't know what the honey badger is.
Well, all the guys that weighed like 150 pounds or 140 pounds were called themselves the honey badgers.
I remember that. Those that like a couple years ago.
Yeah, dude. Do you remember what they were lifting? Because Caleb's. I've watched a couple of his videos from the team series, and I'll post those on the show notes. Dude, you're a strong dude, and it's just it's all about what are you training for. That's our tagline, man. And Caleb is a perfect example of he knows exactly how to curtail his conditioning and his training to. I mean, what's his goal? He has 2 lifts he's got to accomplish, and they've got to be as heavy as possible, And so when we get hey, what should my conditioning look like? It's like you're going to have to see what works for you. And I wish it was a one blue pill. I could take the pill. And exactly. It makes sense. Yeah.
Cool. All right, Caleb. Well, I got a weightlifting competition, the Mid-American Open in October here in Illinois, and it'll be my first one. I know Steve from he's in November. Steve, is that when you're going to do your competition? Are you there? Did we lose Playtech?
Should we try to go outside?
I think November he's looking at competing next.
Yeah.
I think we're going to try and go out front, okay?
All right.
Can you bring some chairs out?
Oh,
yeah. All right. Is that a little bit better?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's a little bit better.
Sorry about that, guys. So Denny, you're doing a weightlifting comp in November?
It's in October. It's like middle of October.
Okay.
And there's some chatter going on the CrossFit blog about Steve's Suicide for Squats program. I think Ingo tagged that one, right?
Yeah.
And so there's Outlaws got like the whole they just did the small up and the hatch cycle. So I mean, any kind of particular squat cycle you like to do in preparing for, we got the Worlds coming up. I just, you're one hell of a squatter. I mean, I've seen that video of you squatting like 700, a few years ago. And I'm just curious to know, what kind of cycle do you like to do as far as going into a competition like that?
Yeah, so what I do now with going into weightlifting competitions is I actually don't hardly back squat at all. I do primarily front squats. So I used to back squat in my training leading up to competitions, but I've kind of eliminated that. When I back squat a lot with all the other stuff, it just bothers my hip a little bit, and it doesn't really help me perform any better. So I cut it out, and I just front squat a lot and front squat heavy. I typically front squat about 4 times a week. Different rep schemes leading up, but when I'm training for a competition, it's a lot of volume, but a lot of intensity with that too. So it's typically not doing anything over 3 reps, but I'm doing a lot of volume with that 1 to 3 rep range and those heavy weights too.
Nice. That was I was curious to know like the numbers, sets of 6, sets of 5, 4, that kind of a thing. You're staying like right between the 1 and the 3s, and 4 times a week, huh? Just getting that bar right in the front rack position and squatting the hell out of it.
Yep. Yeah, we're talking like over 200 kilos.
Dude. And so, like, Steve, you think you're going to kind of follow that routine a little bit, or what, going into your competition?
No, I don't follow a routine. I just do whatever I want, Denny.
You just do whatever you want, man. That's Professor Booty right there.
Yeah. If I do the American Masters weightlifting, then I'll start front squatting a lot more. But I front squat 3 times a week, back squat 3 times a week, and overhead squat 1-2 times a week. So I don't know how many. Is that 8 days, 7 days, whatever?
Steve squats 8 days a week.
I squat 8 days a week.
That's awesome.
But along with it, you got the Bulgarian kind of training and all that stuff, where they do that. And I've done things like that, and really your squat can get strong and you can recover from it fairly quickly. You just have to force your body to adapt to whatever workload you put on it. I've front squatted, 13 different workouts in a week before. And that's when my front squat was the strongest it's ever been, but that's what my body adapted to. It didn't necessarily make my snatch or clean and jerk go up, so I didn't keep doing that. But it's your body, especially with the squat, your body will adapt to whatever stresses you put on it, and it'll get stronger. If you squat a lot and squat heavy, your squat's going to go up. There's no shortcuts.
It's like we talk about every week, right? I mean, your body will adapt to any kind of stressor you put on it. You just have to put your body through that stress and fight through not being a pansy, right?
What about like diet and rest?
For rest?
Caleb, yeah. I mean,
we don't rest at this time.
I rest when I sleep at night, as much of that as I get. And then diet, I eat a lot. Try to. I try to eat pretty clean. I don't eat, as clean as a lot of people do. But I eat a lot of meat, and I eat a lot of rice. Pasta, a lot of other stuff too.
That's not paleo, man.
He says not paleo.
No, I don't go paleo.
Why? Why not? Just curious.
I don't perform well. I get lean on paleo and look good, but that doesn't matter for anything except looking good. So I care about how I perform, and I perform better and recover faster with extra carbs, more than paleo has and all that. So that's what works best for me. It's not what works best for everybody, but I find that's how I perform the best.
But because you tried it and tested it.
Yes, exactly. I've definitely tried it. I'm paleo when I eat meat, but then I follow that up with stuff that's not paleo.
Like Skittles and pasta.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
So, all right. Hey, do you guys have any more questions for Caleb? Because I think he's got
it.
Okay.
Chris has got it.
Okay.
Nah, I'm good, guys. We keep rolling.
Cool. Well, Luke, in season versus off season.
I'm do this other stuff. So
CrossFit football programming, it's in there. The questions are starting to pop up, regarding, the change and the intensity. One of the submissions to Power Athlete Headquarter from Sam Kennedy, he says, "Hey guys, I'm just wondering if you could go through the in-season programming, mainly the aim of the strength WOD during season. Is it simply just little less intensity?"
So intensity is such a bastardized term. So when we talk about intensity, we talk about performing at, let's say, a maximal percentage of your 1RM. So we like to, and even though we don't like percentages, once you're an established athlete and an advanced lifter, we like to say intensity is about 90% or more, maybe 85. Again, depending on how you lift and how you react to volume. So what in-season's all about is really reducing volume, because as an athlete, as a field sport athlete or a competitive athlete, you're practicing, you're training on field. It's like there's volume that you're accumulating in your sport. So what we do with the in-season strength WOD or the SWOD is, first off, we account for amateur, collegiate, and professional game day, right? So a high school football player, amateur football player is going to be playing Friday night. So we shift the strength WOD and the strength WOD conditioning, lifting to correlate with that, right? So we shift it back 3 days. For a collegiate athlete, their typical game day is Saturday. So we shift the collegiate strength WOD to correlate with that. And professional Sunday, which is, for those who follow the site, the off-season strength WOD is for a proverbial game day on Sunday. So that's how the training cycle goes. So we shift the strength WOD in that direction, and we reduce volume. And it's that simple. So we tested it out a couple years ago, or I should say, John, because this was before my time. And it worked, and people were able to reduce detraining, because that's one thing. As you train in the off season, you train and you get better. And then when you get in your competitive arena and you start playing at game speed and game intensity with game volume, you're actually going to be detraining. You will be getting worse. You will not be able to recover from that amount of volume and that amount of intensity because just the nature of sport and the nature of competition. So you will get worse throughout the season. As a training protocol, any sort of in-season template should be designed to minimize detraining, and adding any sort of volume on top of what you're already accumulating in practice and on game days is only going to make you worse. So that's the whole objective of this in-season training. Now, let's say there's an athlete who's not playing a field sport. Since we've reduced the volume and we're tempering intensity, the in-season template will not provide an optimal training effect. Meaning, if you don't play sports, don't do in-season. Period. Unless you do not respond well to volume at all. But you're not going to see optimal training results from following an in-season template on CrossFitFootball.com if you're not playing a sport.
Hey guys, Caleb does a similar thing here, in-season, off-season, but he doesn't do it for football players. He does it more for lacrosse and wrestlers. So I wonder, he probably has something to say about that as well.
Yeah, it's exactly what you guys were just saying. We work with a lot of youth and high school athletes. We've worked with college and pro guys too, but majority of what we do is with the younger kids. But they still have those same in-season demands, and especially in high school, a lot of the coaches and a lot of the programs, they train all the way up to the season, but then as soon as the season starts, they're like, all right, we can't lift weights, we can't do anything else anymore. And as soon as the season starts, they start getting detrained, and then they start getting into the playoffs and state championships. Whether you're in football or it doesn't matter what sport you're playing. But when it matters the most, they're at their weakest, and that's when they're everybody starts getting hurt. They're the weakest they have been all year, and it's when they actually need to be at their best. So exactly what you're saying, to reduce that detraining, what we do is, obviously they're getting most of their conditioning in at practice. They're running sprints, they're doing all that stuff. So it doesn't make sense to come into the gym and do some more sprints. Exactly like you said, you're not going to recover from that volume and still be able to perform well when it matters. But you got to keep that strength training up. You got to make sure you're maintaining your strength as much as you can as the season goes on, as the more demands are placed on your body. We spend a lot of time on injury prevention, make sure you're staying healthy throughout the year, mobility, soft tissue work, all that, and just maintaining strength as best we can as the season goes on, and make sure they're ready for whatever sport they're playing, whatever demands they're placed on their body, which is different for every sport, whether it be wrestling, football, lacrosse, baseball. Those guys all have different physical demands during the season, so you got to take that into account too. But obviously we're talking about football now, but yeah, definitely got to keep that detraining to a minimum.
And it's like we talk about a lot on here. Strength is key, right? I think in that last little bit there, I think Caleb said maintain strength like 12 times, right? That's what we're always talking about. The strength WOD is always the primary thing that we want to be working on. They're getting conditioning on the field, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And we say the only way to, again, I'm biased towards football because I played. It's the most entertaining sport in the world, and it's football season right around the corner. The only way we're going to get you in football shape is to play football.
Right. To
build your foundation or your platform of athleticism. That's what you do in the weight room. So just to piggyback exactly on what everybody's saying.
Awesome. Cool.
All right. Well, let's talk about the Tabata challenge.
Oh yeah. So this is the guy on the blog, Dave. I don't know how this came up, dude, but somehow I recommended a 200 kilo deadlift Tabata challenge. Yeah. I think it'd be fun, right?
So it sounds cool as hell.
8 reps? No, you get more than 8 reps in 4 minutes, right? What is 200 kilos? 440?
440. 440.
12 reps at least, right? What would be the man card for 200 kilo deadlift Tabata?
70.
70 reps? Okay. Well, then I'll be a little girl then.
Luke, you guys are doing all kinds of experiments out there in Balboa. I mean, at one point, did that ever kind of happen? A 200 kilo deadlift Tabata, or maybe a 145 kilo back squat Tabata?
Caleb would crush the 145 kilo back squat.
What's that?
Caleb would crush the 145 kilo back squat test.
That would get hard though.
Yeah.
And by hard he means 100 reps.
Yeah, like as long as it's triple digits, Caleb, I'm not gonna shake a stick at you. But Denny, to answer your question, man, not since I've been there have we tried a 200 kilo Tabata deadlift. But I'll tell you what, I think we need some lab rats, and I think you guys are the ones. I think we need some videos
for that.
We need videos of Playtech and Dave the Bull doing some 200 kilo. Well, Dave said he's not a puller, right? He's more of a squatter.
Right. So just to even the field, then Dave should try that, and then Steve would do the 145 kilo. Maybe 145 is too low.
Yeah, 160.
160. Just so Dave can, have a weakness and then a strength, and then Steve could have a weakness and a strength. Although your squat's not that weak, man.
Competition.
What's that, Steve?
Okay. How did I get? I guess I put myself out there for this, but when I'm feeling better, I'm not feeling good today. But next week sometime, I'll do the 200 kilo deadlift Tabata challenge and videotape it.
Yeah, that sounds good. And then take a month off.
No, take a month off. It's just 440, right? Now, the 160 squat test, that'd be hard, I think.
Well, double Tabata, deadlift, and then squat.
That would be horrible.
Wow.
Then I would take a year off.
That would be awesome, though. That would be really awesome. And then throw in a freaking bench. Throw in like a 130 kilo bench Tabata.
Denny, are you taking bong hits?
Can you hear the bubbles in the background? I'm trying to keep it low, man.
That sounds horrible. All right, well, I'll throw it out there. I'll do a 200 kilo deadlift Tabata challenge.
I'll try it too. I mean, I'm not going to be able to hang with
near future
600-pound deadlift dude over here, but
this is about volume, not one rep.
True.
Right, but it's also about doing it. A little bit of pride. No?
You're not going to do 200 Tabata.
What do you think?
That's true. Yeah, I mean, you have to be able to deadlift 200 to do it Tabata style, I guess. You get one rep, maybe.
Well, maybe 2 or 3. I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, Denny, I'm with you, man. Like, maybe 1 per cycle. I'll get 8.
Right? At least you tried it, man. But, Luke, I'm sure you could deadlift a ton.
Not really. I don't like it.
I remember the video you squatting, what was that, 220?
Yeah. No problem.
Ass to the ground, stood up, no problem. You look like you had more than tank.
Well, I just like to move fast. I feel like my heavy deadlifts are too slow. So, I like my dynamic pulls. And, dude, I'm 220 pounds, and I feel dwarfed by Caleb's numbers, but, he's a freak. But, dude, I just like to power clean. I like to power clean and power snatch. I'm no good at the full lifts and blame it on mobility or whatever, but it's all about moving fast and pulling hard, I feel like my heavy deadlifts are just slow, and I don't like to be slow.
Yeah, heavy deadlifts are slow.
And I like to suffer as little as possible, which, kind of spits in the face of Tabata incline interval treadmill sprints. But that was the worst thing in the life. Oh, God, I'm still messed up from that.
That's horrible, dude. That's horrible, man.
What'd you set the incline at? I don't know if you were breaking up when you were talking about that.
Oh, is 15%. I don't know how official the treadmill rankings are, but it said 15% and speed was 10 miles an hour. That's as high as it went. It just kept hitting plus.
That's fast. I'd be on one of those like awkward gym moment videos being shot off the back of the treadmill.
Dude, so
I wouldn't be able to get my walker on the treadmill, man.
Yeah, I hear you, Denny.
My girlfriend was training with us, and she was doing sit-ups, and she was behind the treadmill, and she's like, I should probably move because I looked like I was about to die. And like, dude, I'll go till I die, but I will shoot off the end of that treadmill.
Has to be on video.
That's a good point.
Yeah, has to be on video. All right, guys, we got anything else to talk about?
I think we're good. We're good, cool. Man.
We're going to go listen to some sledgehammers.
Awesome. Hey, guys,
Hey, Caleb, thanks for thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, guys, appreciate you having me on, and you guys talking kilos, so it's good now. So I'll come back if you guys ever want.
Sounds like a plan, dude. And thanks, guys, for accommodating. For the people, people don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but Denny and Steve were chasing me down all week and unintentionally dodging them just with a crazy travel schedule. So thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate you, setting aside time for this.
No problem.
No problem, man. Thanks, guys. All right, well, I guess we're out then, right?
That's it.
Have a good
Game
week.
over. Till next week.
Have fun at the wedding, Luke.
Hey, thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Later.